Penn State won the toss, elected to defer to the second half. Gabriel Wosu will send it away, and Nebraska will get out there first. And TJ Lateef, in his second career start, will have an early opportunity as Ja'Cory Barney will take it right from the goal line. And Barney showing off the speed, dangerous with the ball in his hands, gets it across the 25, and this drive will start at about the 28-yard line for the youngster Lateef.
TJ Lateef, in his first start on the road at UCLA, completed his first 11 passes. And the thing that showed me how much confidence Matt Rule and his staff had in Lateef, at the end of the game when they're trying to run the clock out, the final 4:47 of the game, one touchdown lead, they threw the ball twice with him making a couple clutch throws in that closing drive.
205 yards, 3 touchdowns in the win over UCLA, but it was Emmett Johnson who was the absolute star in that one. And he's going to get it on first down. Johnson showing off the swift feet for a gain of 4 as he runs into deny Dennis Sutton. Early empty set here on second down and 7. Now it is Johnson a motion in. Lateef looks, throws, and it's incomplete. It was through the hands of Isaiah Hunter. Got back to the line quick. Now they'll take their time after seeing the formation.
This is the guy that Nebraska has to be worried about right there. Deny Dennis Sutton, number 33. 2 sacks, 12 pressures a week ago against Michigan State.
And he jumped. Dennis Sutton was getting a little aggressive on his senior night, and Ron Snodgrass will give us the official call.
Offside, defense number 33, unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Different quarterback in also on this play. Looks like Harburg.
It is. He gives Johnson, finds the hole. Look at the speed. Emmett Johnson explodes into the secondary. Finally tracked down by Dejon Lane. 52 yards all the way down to the 11-yard line. Right back to him. Johnson makes a cut, stays on his feet. He forces almost as many missed tackles as anybody in the country. On 2nd and 7. Johnson weaving his way through, keeping the legs moving all the way down towards the 3. 3rd and 2. Johnson, this entire drive, pushing, and let's see where they mark him down.
Penn State has 99 yards to go against your defense.
Play clock down to 2. They will go. It is Johnson, and he's stopped. Zane Durant led the charge with Amari Campbell. But it will be a drive that starts from the 2-yard line for this Penn State offense. And a handoff. Kaytron Allen has become the workhorse for this offensive unit. Gets it across the 5 to the 6 on his senior night first carry. Ethan Grunkemeyer will be under center once again. Has come in for the injured Drew Aller. 4 touchdowns and 4 picks on the season.
And he's played better. Now, I mean, this guy, the first 4 starts of his career that he draws, first start is at Iowa. Second start is against Ohio State, the number 1 defense in the country. Third start is here against Indiana, the number 2 team in the country. Played well against Michigan State when they got the win, and he's gotten more comfortable running the offense with each game that he's played.
Yeah, first 3 starts against top 6 total defenses in the country. Second carry for Allen. This time he gets spun down just shy of the 10 by Rex Guthrie. 3rd down and 2. 2 carries for Allen, go for 8. They put Reynolds in motion. Grunkemeyer's first pass is a catch by Pena, who extends past the first down to keep this drive alive. Allen's going to stay in there, fake it to him. Grunkemeyer, good protection, and he delivers. Kobe Howard, the freshman, spun out of bounds. Big gain from Grunkemeyer. It goes for 30. This is against one of the best passing defenses in the country. Certainly in the Big Ten this year, they allow fewer pass yards than rushing yards on the season. Only 134.6 through the air per game. Kaytron Allen gets to the outside. Kaytron could not get all the way. 51 yards, tiptoeing the sideline. Well, he just passed Saquon Barkley on the all-time list with that run. He is 2nd all-time in Penn State history. Gets bottled up on this 1st and goal carry. Came in just 138 yards behind Evan Royster for number 1. And he is moving on up. Now number 2 in Nittany Lion history. Pretty amazing. Rappleyea in the backfield, fake it to Allen, throw it, Rappleyea, turn it upfield for the touchdown. Perfect play design, better execution, and Penn State with a brilliant drive down the field.
Well, they're going to get a great block by Kyron Hudson, number 1.
So Ryan Barker will come on for the extra point. 7 plays, their longest by yardage of the season. 98 yards, started back at the 2 after the 4th down stop. And Penn State's offense pays it off. Now Barker.
What a drive.
Makes it 7-0. There's a flag down after that extra point. And so we'll see what that impacts. Ron?
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 85. 15-yard penalty, and we'll re-kick the try.
There you go. So.
Yeah, you tell that guy to kind of hit with one hand inside, one hand outside, try to hit in the chest area. And that time, Luke Reynolds just got that hand up around the face mask.
So Ryan Barker will come back out. He's 12 for 13 field goal wise this season and a perfect 35 of 35 and PATs. His only miss was from 53 yards. This extra point will be a 35-yard attempt. Duzansky, one of the captains, the snapper. Riley Thompson, the punter, will hold it. And Barker's kick nearly blocked, but he sticks it. Barney tried to take the first one out. Let's see if he does here. He will not. I'm just glad we didn't get Todd saying, Terry, I don't care. The play was too cool this time. His drive will start from the 25. Emmett Johnson slips one tackle, not the second. He gets upended in the backfield from this Penn State defense. Empty set, Latif batted down at the line. Zane Durant. Latif on 3rd and 11 on the run. Delivers on time. Dane Key out of bounds. Trying to finish this season strong. He's been a great leader, unselfish when you talk to anybody within the building. Another quick throw, quick catch. That's Emmett Johnson, and that's what makes him so unique. Talk to Matt Rule. It's not just that he's a great runner, it's that he could be the first progression in the passing game. Hand it to him. Nelson up the middle. Snakes his way around. Stays on his feet. Bouncing off of tacklers. And gets it across the 45-yard line for a first down.
Wouldn't be surprised to see them take a shot down the field throwing the football with Latif soon.
It's going to be Nelson again. This time he gets wrapped up quickly. A nice play made by Alex Tatch. On 2nd and 9. Latif sets up the screen. Johnson couldn't get away. Tripped up by Amari Campbell. Can Penn State find that pressure that we saw in that win last week at Michigan State? And this is not going to be a snap. It's going to be a flag instead. Campbell jumped on the ball just in case. As Ron Snodgrass.
Delay game. Offense snapped the ball where the defense was in substitutions. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Put Johnson in motion, back into the backfield. Latif feeling it. Johnson catching it. Johnson gets away from the first, but then he is swarmed. Pursuit to the football from this Penn State defense, and they force a likely punt. Archie Wilson will come out for his first punt of the night. Trevor Pena's back deep inside his own 10, waiting for it. Penn State has blocked a number of punts this year, including 3 from Deni Dennis Sutton. Fair catch called for and made at the 10. Nittany Lions had gone 6 straight losses, including that one before the win at Michigan State last week, trying to make it 2 in a row here. Pena on the jet sweep. Could not find an opening and gains just 2 yards. We asked Ethan yesterday about Drew Aller. He said it's been just super helpful to watch film with him in the meetings, bounce ideas off of him as Grunkemeier's going to take off and slide down. Looks like he's got just about enough. Now they're going to mark him a yard shy of the first down. He said it's also helpful because he and Drew are so close in terms of friendship that Drew will give it to him straight. He doesn't feel like he has to hold back when he gives him advice.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Drew. I mean, now he's a two-time captain. That's another reason why he wants to be around the team. Feels an obligation. He's a great leader, whether he can contribute by playing or not. And so far, his protege off to a good start. That was an excellent decision to scramble there, not force a throw downfield. He's 3 for 3 with a touchdown so far in the ball game. Both backs are in the game now, both Singleton and Allen, for the second play in a row.
They love to block for one another. It is going to be Allen with a hesitation, and then that second burst gives them the first down.
Last week against Michigan State, they ran it 50 times and they threw it 13 times. They totally dominated the second half and time of possession by running the football. And that sets up play action pass when they max protect for Ethan Gruckenmeyer.
They will want one more play to finish this first quarter. It's Singleton's first touch, and Nick Singleton, home run speed. Singleton tracked down. Javen Wright had to bring all his might to get to the senior. Penn State has it at the plus 28 with Singleton in there. Pitch it to him. Singleton trying to get to the outside, and he does get positive yardage, gains 2 after it looked like it was going to be a surefire loss. They ran it 50 times, 5-0 against Michigan State. This is a reason why. Kaytron Allen, another first down. Singleton again has to locate him on the field, but not before he picks up 11.
Well, this is the same play, counter trap, that USC ran so effectively against Nebraska a couple weeks ago when we were there. One kick out, one lead through.
Gruckenmeyer on play action, looking to the end zone, incomplete. It was Hudson, the intended target, matched up closely with Rex Guthrie, and it's the redshirt freshman who wins the battle. Play clock all the way down on 2nd down and 10. Pitch it. Allen trying to set up his blocking. Allen goes down inside the 10.
3rd down and manageable here in the red zone.
It was Rapelier who caught the touchdown on the opening drive. Again, the play clock below 5. 3rd down and 4. Gruckenmeyer steps up. Gruckenmeyer gets crunched. Denied of any yardage by Javen Wright. It's a 26-yard field goal for somebody who's only missed 1, and that one was beyond 50 on the season. Juszanski snap. Thompson will hold, and Barker's kick is true.
And they've putting good stuff on tape the last couple weeks, and I really credit Terry Smith for that as well, because one of the things he's done since taking over is go into a good tape, bad tape with all position groups on this football team. Say, let's eliminate the bad tape.
Barney from the goal line. Barney, the speedster, across the 30 and across the 40 with an excellent return, as special teams have been special for Nebraska this year. They have been great covering and even better at times returning with an injured player down for Penn State. Good news is that Dakari Nelson makes his way off the field. So TJ Lateef and company will start from the 40 after the return from Barney, and Johnson gets gobbled up after 2.
Emmett Johnson with a 52-yard run early, and ever since then it's been tough sledding against this Nittany Lion defense.
He had 1 carry for 52 yards. The other 7 have gone for a combined 13. 2nd down and 8. Lateef is 4 of 6 with 23 yards, but he missed his first 2 of the day. 5 straight completions. Ja'Cory Barney. Dana Holgerson told Barney, every time you catch a pass, act like it's a punt return or a kick return.
Big 3rd down. This is an important drive, I think, for Nebraska with good field position.
On 3rd down and 3, design run. Lateef with a shimmy shake, and he'll move the sticks.
Yeah, design quarterback draw.
These 2 quarterbacks coming in for their injured starters in front of them.
Still think you got to try to throw the ball downfield. Look at all those bodies around the line of scrimmage.
Another short pass, another short catch and run. Isaiah Hunter forced out of bounds by Collins. It has been the recipe for success at the moment. 18 on the catch and rip.
Well, watch Dane Key, the other wide receiver, get a key block. He's going to get a nice block, They get the ball to Hunter, and then another guy that looks like a return guy when he catches a short pass, making people miss in the open field.
Yeah, there's
Face mask, defense, number 2.
that was a mutual.
Yeah. That could have been offsetting face mask penalties, it looks like.
That
right?
was the mutual face mask.
Yeah, they both had a hold of it.
Either way, benefits Nebraska inside the 15, well inside the red zone. And it's Emmett Johnson with a jump cut and another for 2 more. 4 tackles already for Amari Campbell, 3 for Collins. He has a tackle for loss on that opening possession to send this Nebraska offense away. Can they get it done in the red zone this time? Latif on the move, keeps the eyes downfield, and Latif got rid of it, incomplete. More importantly, makes it 3rd down and 8. Can Penn State bring that pressure?
Again, quick count.
Latif, good time this time. Rolls, directs traffic, throws, corner, incomplete. Lindenmeyer, the intended target. So a 31-yard attempt now for Kyle Cunanan. 12 of 15 on the season, make him 13 of 16. And Nebraska gets their first points of the night. 8:31 to play in the first half, and we've got a 1-score game. Penn State will get it back, up by 7 with a touchback. Ethan Grunkemeyer, the way that he's played after facing those 3 menacing defenses, you've seen the clear improvement. He's 5 of 6, just under 100 yards and a touchdown to start today. Looking for more down the sideline, incomplete. One-on-one coverage, and Hudson draws the flag on Guthrie.
Well, Guthrie got away with it on Hudson down in the red zone a little while ago, and this time he doesn't.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You know, Guthrie never makes a play on the football. Got his hands on Hudson, and that is an easy call right there on the Penn State sideline. Got away with it in the red zone that time, drew the flag.
Moves them up to the 40. So Kaytron Allen, 7 carries, 77 yards. Singleton, 2 catches,
Wildcat.
52 yards.
Wildcat to Kaytron right here.
Allen, good blocking. And Allen pushes forward to the 45-yard line. 2nd down and 4. Allen stays in there. Allen has the handoff. And he'll gain 3 more to set up 3rd and a long 1. It's Allen, the up back. Spins, and he's got it. First down. Terry Smith described it by saying, we're not playing trick 'em football. It's go on 2. Go and get the tough yard. Grunkemeyer now to throw. Rolls, delivers, a strike right on the money to Devontae Ross. Inside the red zone. Allen stays in there. Allen up the middle and dragged down by Sierre Wright. See defensively what John Butler in his first year as defensive coordinator has cooked up for this Cornhusker group. The Blackshirts have been unbelievable against the pass. Again, potential Wildcat with Singleton back in there. Grunkemeyer directing the traffic. Singleton takes it. Singleton runs it. Skipping his way through. Dragging tacklers with him. 1st and goal inside the 5. Nick Singleton delivering for 14 yards.
And Penn State knocking on the door again.
Going quick. Singleton trying to pay it off, and he does. Touchdown, Penn State. Singleton shoving his way through for the score. 10th rushing touchdown of the season, maybe more importantly, 42nd rushing touchdown in the career of Nick Singleton, his 52nd total touchdown in his career, as Barker's extra point makes it 17-3. Wosu will send it deep into the night. And this one will be brought out from a yard inside. Oh, what an open field tackle. Makai Nelson thought he had a return possibility. Instead, he gets sent down by Wosley. As it's been Barney and now Makai Nelson, the backup running back. And this drive will start from the 10. Latif faked it and did not have anywhere to go. Well played by this Penn State defense once again. They have simplified things under Jim Knowles in year one, as Knowles being the defensive coordinator. Fake it.
Oh,
there's the first sack. Nobody could account for Kemajo.
Penn State defense, particularly the last couple weeks against Indiana and Michigan State, getting after the quarterback.
Flag
There's going to be
thrown.
a safety.
Incomplete.
This is going to be a safety. If it's holding on Nebraska in the end zone, it could be a safety.
That flag did come before the pass, which regardless anyway. And let's see what the eventual call is. Latif trying to listen in, and body language would signal he's not thrilled.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 44. Penalties decline. Fourth down.
So Archie Wilson will try to boot this away again. Looking for Dennis Sutton. He has 3 blocks already this season, but couldn't get to that one. Pena will take it in front of midfield. Skips away from a tackle. Gets away from a second one. Inside the 30. And perfect field position. Yeah. And there is the flag. So already had it inside the 30 after a 20-yard return. And now the team's coming together on the bench. This should be another 15 yards after the fact.
Yeah, and Penn State really looking to capitalize here at the end of the first half. The point of emphasis from Terry Smith, get those 2 guys the ball. Let them touch it at least 30 times in the ball game. And we got a pretty good chance of being successful.
They've got 161 yards combined, make it 160 after the loss of 1, compared to Nebraska's 123 as a team. The Lawn Boys doing their work in this first half.
And for the second consecutive week, the Penn State offensive line controlling things up front.
Toss, Singleton. Cuts it upfield, and then gets dragged down at the 10. 3rd down and 6. Singleton with the hole, touchdown! Nick Singleton from 10 yards out ties Saquon Barkley atop the Penn State list. You can see the elation on the Nittany Lions sideline right now, as that extra point is wide to the left, no good. This is going to be another return. This time it is Barney. Sets out the blocks, and Barney will get it across the 25 to the 26-yard line. Nebraska could really use some points in some facet to finish this first half, as Johnson makes the catch short of the first down. 3rd and 1. Hand it, Johnson. Plenty for the first down as he gets lifted off the ground just around the 40.
Yeah, I got to call another timeout, right?
Or you clock it here. Clock will pause before they resume for play.
If you had a timeout before, you should have had 2 plays called. You should be ready to line up and call your play right now.
They're taking a lot of time now. The young quarterback, Latif, in just his 2nd career start. Latif, quick throw, quick catch, but a short gain for Dane Key. 2nd down and 4. Latif, good protection. Taking a lot of time again. Latif will just throw it away. Latif steps up, lets it fly. Nearly picked. Oh, was it taken in? I don't think it hit the ground.
Oh, man.
Intercepted by Zachy Wheatley. One more look here. You see it hits the ground right there.
Incomplete pass. It's 4th down.
Got to make sure you drain all this clock. Screen pass. And the ball was out at the end. Barney looked like he tried to almost throw it backward, and recovered by Nebraska with 0s on the clock. Pritchett brought it in, but flags are down. There was some hand fighting after the fact. Also was just odd in how the football squirted backward.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, 18 Nebraska, number 4, and 7 for Penn State. It's their first of the game. The fouls will offset. It's halftime.
Penn State won the toss, deferred to the second half, and have a 20-point lead, looking to add to it here at home. Fair catch called for and taken in by Mack.
Both these quarterbacks need the running game to be successful for them to do what they can do.
On first down, Kaytron Allen, as he snakes his way across the 30-yard line down to the 32 for a gain of 7.
Bare defensive look now by Nebraska.
Toss it. Allen slices his way through for the first down.
A nice little adjustment. I don't know if this was a change at the line of scrimmage or not, but Nebraska kind of ganging up on the inside, so they toss it quickly to the outside and get Kaytron Allen out there. And again, you see this offensive line, the athleticism to get out in front of these two running backs. That's probably what they do the best as a unit. This offensive line is run.
You see the 12th career 100-yard rushing game in the career for Kaytron Allen. Now 105 yards on the day. Grunkemeyer to throw. Lofts it, wide open. Trevor Pena makes the catch. And the hesitation move out of bounds just shy of the 30. Dinkins in motion on first down. Kaytron Allen through the hole, across the 25, and a first down run of 13 yards out of bounds. Came in 138 behind Evan Royster, so he can't get the record on this drive, but he can get himself right on that doorstep as he already is. Stays in there. 3 straight plays, 3 straight first downs, and now it's Kaytron Allen for 2.5 yards. Second down and 7. Grunkemeyer gets rid of it over the middle. Pena comes back to the football and makes it 3rd and short. Grunkemeyer, quick throw, quick catch. Pena sets up 1st and goal. First and goal. It's Allen up the middle, bulldozing forward for the touchdown. Kaytron Allen with his 13th rushing touchdown of his senior season. Barker missed an extra point in the second quarter. This time he splits the sticks. Gabriel Wosu with another kickoff, and this one will be taken from the 5 from Barney. Barney not going to go much further than that. Latif tries to get away, and he gets planted by Davion Collins.
Some great battles between Tom Osborne and Joe Paterno teams in those years.
Quickly out. Oh, Johnson just absorbed the hit, and then DeLuca had to finish it off. Collins was looking for back-to-back pops. And this is going to be whistled dead with a flag.
Weren't all set. I don't think they were set before the ball was snapped. Again, a lot of these things are first experiences for TJ Latif against this defense and the way they can rush the passer, particularly deny Dennis Sutton, who's down here at the bottom right here, number 33.
Only 1 sack so far tonight. They're not going to get one here on a quick throw and catch. Dane Key on the slant for the first down. Now from the 37-yard line. It's a handoff, Emmett Johnson, as he navigates his way before being tripped up by DeLuca. He actually falls into Collins. Second down and 6. Latif felt the pressure and then just threw it out of bounds. Barney in motion. Here comes Dennis Sutton. Latif, chase, throws, and he's got it. Put it in the bucket for Barney on a first down.
Well, they did a beautiful job chipping on Denai Sutton. Watch the chip here as Sutton is going to rush. I think it's Emmett Johnson that's going to help with the chip. Excellent job to slow him down, and that allows Latif to get to the outside and throw a dot to Barney on the sideline.
Fresh set of downs, now inside the 40 from the 37. Johnson This time a good patient run allowed his blocks.
Kind of like this up tempo now. I know the score is 30-3, but Nebraska getting a little traction here by going without a huddle.
Loft and Latif just airmailed one. There is the run and a flag first. Saw them go backward on their first third down of the drive, and let's see if it's going to be the same thing here.
False start. Offense number 6. Never got set.
Latif quickly out of his hand and well behind Isaiah Hunter. 4th and 9. Latif steps up. Latif goes down. Zane Durant. His 10th career sack comes on senior night. Singleton will lose yardage on the screen pass on Singleton. That is Deshaun Singleton making the tackle on Nick Singleton. Too many Singletons in the backfield.
Terry Smith showing a little bit of that fire. Made him a great player at Penn State as a wide receiver. He's been an outstanding cornerback coach here. And, you know, he's going to get a legitimate interview to be the next head coach on a permanent basis. And I think he deserves it. I think he's done a great job of turning this thing around. This team does not look like the Penn State team that played against UCLA and Northwestern earlier in the season.
Kaytron Allen nearing that rushing record will pick up about 3 yards. He's up to 127, came in 138 behind Evan Royster, so needs just 12 more.
The strength of their defense is their back end, their pass defense, and this is the pass situation right here.
On 3rd down and 8. Good protection initially for Grunkemeyer, and time runs out. Right up the middle to Deshaun Singleton. The first sack of the night for the Huskers. Gabriel Wosu's first punt of the night after Penn State scored on its first 5 drives of the night. Will go after some contact inside the 30. Yeah, there's the flag. And Barney, who was back there to return it, comes up limping, favoring his left side.
That was a really nice play by Deshaun Singleton. And again, we just haven't seen Nebraska get Penn State in many situations like that.
Kicking team number 2, 15-yard penalty, first down.
I mean, Terry Smith has been livid ever since that last call. It was Aldavion Collins going down the field who made the interference, but believed maybe he was blocked into him as Latif floats.
Beautiful
Perfect touch.
throw.
Emmett Johnson makes the grab. As Zane having himself a day on senior night, but Latif now has his team back in business with Emmett Johnson up the middle. Gets it across the 35-yard line to the 34. And Matt Roll was pretty honest that it was Dana who had to convince him, no, this guy has a chance to really help us, as Barney has a minimal 1-yard pickup on the catch. And they'll need something of a spark here on 3rd down and 6. It's Latif on the move, looking down the field. Gets to the edge, and it's a first down run for Latif out of bounds.
Yeah, nice play. Does a great job of taking care of his body, going through all the recovery things, nutrition, gets stronger as the game goes on.
Oh, how did that get through? Dane Key turns it upfield and picks up 12. Johnson stays in there, fresh set of downs from the 15. Johnson up the middle, spinning his way inside the 11. 2nd down and 6. Nebraska looking for its first touchdown of the night. Latif feeling the pressure, stepping up. Latif will tuck. Latif will run for the corner. Touchdown. An 11-yard scamper for TJ Latif. And Nebraska has finally gotten into the end zone.
Well, he was trying to look for Emmett Johnson again on a little wheel route up the sideline. But it's zone coverage again, and Darius Dixon is going to be out there, so he decides to extend the play the other side, and this time runs it himself for the touchdown. Nice job of improvising the play when the initial read wasn't there by the freshman quarterback.
Cunanan's extra point can make it a 20-point game, and does. Kaytron Allen leading the way once again. 18 carries on the night, 127 yards and a touchdown. He is 12 yards away from becoming Penn State's all-time leading rusher. Holes kick, angling for a touchback. Kaytron Allen up the middle, across the 30, pushed forward, and gains 10 yards on the first carry of the drive. He needs 3 on 2nd and inches. Kaytron Allen to the outside with a stiff arm. Kaytron inside the 40, but a flag is down. Allen, a face full of grass, and we wait for the penalty. And Kaytron is limping after the fact. There is a Nebraska defender down as well.
Face mask. Offense number 13. 15-yard penalty for spot of foul. The penalty being forced on the 4th quarter. That's the end of the third quarter. Timeout on the field.
He is 2 yards away from breaking the Penn State rushing record, but he's on the side to start the 4th quarter. Singleton is out there. It's a 2nd and 15 back towards the 20. Play action. Grunkemeyer delivers again. Kyron Hudson out of bounds with a first down. 20-yard pickup. Kaytron Allen back in there, 2 yards away from number 1. Fake it to him. Grunkemeyer on the move. He'll run himself and just go down after he picks up 2. There was some contact at the end from Bauer, but nothing nefarious. It's Allen, and it's not going to be this time. He gets bottled up at the line of scrimmage.
A really nice play by the front of Nebraska. Grunkemeyer is down here at the bottom as a wide receiver.
Clifford is capable of throwing. Instead, it's going to be Kaytron Allen stumbling forward, and that will be enough. A 4-yard pickup, and from Norfolk, Virginia to the top of the Penn State record books, Kaytron Allen is now your all-time leading Nittany Lion rusher. They call him Fat Man. He is fantastic. Second punt for Wosu. Oh, it's a fake, and they're gonna get it. Luke Reynolds taking off all the way inside the 30. Let's get tricky inside Beaver Stadium. So Kaytron back in there. They fake it to him. Grunkemeyer tosses toward the sideline. A lot of contact. There's the flag. Rappelier was deep, and it was tight coverage, a little too tight from Bauer.
Good job by Grunkemeyer, just giving his guy a chance. It was pretty good coverage, but go ahead and throw it to the back corner of the end zone, see if your guy can make a play.
Defense, number 54, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Inside the red zone from the 13. Allen, jump cut, Allen to the house. Kaytron pays it off, his 2nd touchdown of the night, and what a senior night for both of these backs. The Lawn Boys sharing this field one final time, dominating together, 37-10. The rushing yards record, Kaytron Allen in Penn State history. And yeah, you get to the sideline, this scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Singleton there, the teammates and coaching staff crowning him You could feel the emotion radiating off of the senior.
You know, and so many of these guys, Drew Aller included, so many of them could have gone to the NFL. They came back with the hopes of making a run at a national championship, similar to what Ohio State did a year ago and Michigan 2 years ago. It didn't work out for them. But there's still some pretty special moments for these seniors, and that was one of them right there.
This is going to be a kick out of bounds. Drew Aller, actually, after we could see him, he was raising his crutch in the air, making sure that he could celebrate. His teammate came in the class of 2022 along with the likes of Abdul Carter and Zane Durant and Denai Dennis Sutton. And they're chanting Terry Smith.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team number 99. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, Nebraska.
Terry Smith has brought the juice back to Beaver Stadium. And Todd, you asked him about his desires to potentially be a head coach, and he said he had almost given up on the idea that he would be a head coach again, certainly at this level. And that's a great throw. Latif hits Barney in stride. It goes to the 30-yard line before he gets pushed backward by a convoy 31-yard pickup. It was interesting to hear him talk. He was never a coordinator. He was always a position coach, so he just felt like his time, maybe it never was going to come his way. And now he gets this opportunity.
And he's shown that here since he's taken over, that he can lead and he can motivate and inspire, and these guys have really responded to him.
On a 2nd down and 7, Emmett Johnson for 2 yards. As Emmett Johnson makes the adjustment for the 1st down.
Well, they both believe in toughness. They both believe in being straightforward and honest and treating people the right way. And they've done that throughout their careers.
Into his players that he tries to pass along, that karma is very real, as that is a career high 8th reception for Emmett Johnson. Is going to set up 3rd down and short.
Game has not gone in their favor, but they're fighting here. And here's Latif with another nice scramble.
It'll set up 1st down and goal. Latif looks, steps up, goes down. Denai Dennis Sutton.
Well, they've chipped on him a lot tonight. That time they let him go one-on-one against Turner Corcoran.
Holding offense number 57. Penalties decline.
Durant, Dennis Sutton, roomed together initially when they got here. Such a close bond between those two, and they have both wreaked havoc at times tonight. Latif flings it out of bounds. Now here he is at Beaver Stadium, showing off that toughness down the stretch.
Well, they're coming after him here too. This is their prowler package.
Latif got away. Latif out of bounds. This game started with a Penn State 4th down stop deep in the red zone. Full circle here with under 6 to play. 4th and goal.
Zero coverage look again.
Here they come. Latif has to get rid of it towards the end zone. Way too high and incomplete for Dane Key. So pretty good pedigree is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Singleton now in there after Kaytron Allen gets up to 153 yards, and he picks up 5, maybe 6 on the 1st down carry. He's tied Saquon Barkley in the rushing and total touchdowns in program history. Kaytron now the all-time leading rusher, and they're going to keep feeding Singleton, who makes a cut and has the 1st down. Nick Singleton has had some moments, including that Indiana game, 2 touchdowns here tonight. He continues to showcase why he was so highly touted out of high school, why both will be so highly touted going into the NFL draft. Direct snap this time, and he gets thrown to the ground by Watson Trent. 36 rushes tonight, only 12 throws coming from Grunkemeyer. He's completed 11 of them for 181 and the first score of the game. Kaytron Allen adds to his tally.
Everything starts and ends with the running game of Penn State, and that means the offensive line. You know what you've got with the backs. The offensive line the last few weeks has played at a high level, and that makes it a lot easier to play quarterback.
3rd and 5. Allen tried to stay on his feet, but does get dropped at the 31-yard line by Bauer. Bosu's punt bounces out of bounds. Got a nice Penn State bounce before trickling out around the 20-yard line. A 49-yard boot. A lot of rumors. There was so much talk about Matt Rule and Penn State. He extends through 2032 at Nebraska and believes that this is exactly what they've been building toward, as Mosey makes the catch and then ricochets off a defender for a gain of 3. And they will still have that one more game, of course, against Iowa to finish out the regular season, as Latif throws too high once again for Ja'Cory Barney. We know the talent of the team, and that's something that was different last year. They won those one-score games, as Latif finds his intended target a yard short of the first down.
Nebraska 0 for 4 on 4th down so far.
And they will just barely get it this time. Dom DeLuca thought that he had the stop, but it will be enough for the first down. You can see the frustration from the 3-time captain. Makai Nelson stays in there. Another solid day from Emmett Johnson. 103 yards on the ground. He had 8 catches, which was a career high for 48 yards, as Latif put some air under that one, but just about a half step in front. So Latif, second career start after just 2 incompletions at UCLA 2 weeks ago. He's got 14 incompletions here tonight, as this one is going to be his 21st completion to his tight end Carter Nelson.
Next week against Iowa, they don't need him throwing 35 times.
This will be the 36th attempt over the middle and incomplete for Mills. And then a critical inflection point of the season to see if they can claim that 8th win. 4th and 2. Latif hit as he threw it. Short for Mills. 5 seconds left. And Penn State can wind this thing all the way down with another win. You can see how much these guys love Terry Smith. Well, Terry Smith saved his sweatshirt from last week. It is framed in the Penn State football building. That was his first win as a college head coach. And in back-to-back weeks, the man known as Superfly leads his alum to another victory. Penn State on senior night, a 37-10 beatdown of Nebraska.